everybody, it's JT Sports Match, you guys, with another video. In this video, I'm here with my Georgia Tech versus Clemson Week 1 college football preview and prediction. I'm going to be previewing this game and giving my prediction for this game at the end of this video. So before I begin, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, upload NFL videos and college football videos daily. So here we are, Georgia Tech versus Clemson. Now, if you're Georgia Tech, you got a new head coach, you're getting away from that triple option offense, which is going to be something very interesting to watch. But before I get into all the particulars, I want to talk about Georgia Tech and Clemson. So if you're Georgia Tech, if you had to choose a week that you want to play Clemson, this will be that week. You want to play Clemson week 1, and here's why. Clemson is an absolute juggernaut. We know that. But a lot of these teams, week 1, they haven't played football in the last 6-7 months. They've only been playing football against each other, scrimmaging and things like that. So we see a lot of teams week 1, they look a little rusty and they're a little bit more prone to turnovers. So that might be something, if you're Georgia, to look out for. Clemson might be a little bit rusty on offense. And also we can say the same thing about Georgia Tech. And plus they're also in a whole new entire system. And going into Georgia Tech, they have a new head coach. Like I said earlier, they're getting away from that triple option offense. And the thing about that is, the last couple of years, when it comes to recruiting, they've been recruiting guys to play in that triple option offense. So now you're going to be taking guys from the last couple of recruiting classes who were recruited to play in that triple option offense, and you're going to be sticking them in a whole new entire system that they weren't recruited to play in. So that's going to be something to look for. So Georgia Tech's offense, they're going to struggle. They're going to struggle specifically in this game when you're playing a juggernaut like Clemson, because this is a whole new entire system, and you recruited these guys a couple of years ago to play in the triple option offense, and now they're in the whole new entire offense other than the triple option. So that's going to be something that's very, very, very intriguing to me, seeing how the players adjust to playing in a whole new entire system. So that's definitely something that you have to watch. So things early to watch. Rust on Clemson's offense, because they haven't really been playing that. They haven't played football in the last 6-7 months. And Georgia Tech's players adapting to a whole new entire system. So Georgia Tech, new head coach and things like that, they're not going to be running that triple option offense no more. I think the triple option offense in college football now is very, very outdated now. It worked a couple of years back now, but now you got all of these fast and athletic linebackers and things like that. And also you have to be able to do damage through the ground, or through the air, excuse me. So I think it's very good at Georgia Tech now. They're getting away from that triple option offense. And I'm not saying that they should completely get away from it. I still think it's okay to run it from time to time, but every play, they have to get rid of it. It's the passing league in college football. When you look at the teams that were in the college football last season, they were all teams that were very good passing the football. So Georgia Tech now in this new offense, I'm very interested to see. It's going to be really weird seeing them line up for the first play, not running a triple option play. So that's going to be very interesting to watch. Then Clemson's offense. I mean, Clemson is an absolute juggernaut on the offensive side of the ball. Other than Alabama, I don't know if it's a team that can go toe-for-toe with Clemson offense talent-wise. I mean, they are stacked. They have talented offensive linemen who are going to be playing on Sundays. You got wide receivers. You got Ross. You got Higgins. We know those guys are going to be future first-round picks. You got Trevor Lawrence. We know he's going to be a future top 5, top 10 pick, maybe a future first overall pick. You got ETN. He should end up being happy that ends up getting drafted very high in next year's NFL draft. So, I mean, this Clemson offense is an absolute juggernaut. Other than Alabama, it's no team in college football that matches the talent that Clemson has on the offensive side of the ball. They're absolutely loaded. So Georgia Tech, they're going to have their hands full on defense. And then when we look at Clemson's defense, I know they lost Cleveland Farrell. They lost Christian Wilkins. You lost Dexter Lawrence. You lost 3 talented guys. You also had guys like Trey Lamar, Austin Bryant, Trayvon Mullen. So you lost a lot of talented guys to the NFL. But the thing with Clemson is they're when you recruit as well as what Clemson has, you basically have that next man up mentality. I'm pretty sure the guys they have stepping up are going to be very, very good. And I've also heard that their defensive line is going to be very, very solid. They're going to be just as good. They're not going to be no sleepovers also. So, I mean, yeah, their defensive line might not be at that elite stats that it was the last couple of seasons, because anytime you lose 3 first rounders on your defense, especially the defensive line, you're not going to it's not going to be the same there. But I still think they're going to get a lot of good production out of the guys who they have stepping up and replacing those guys. Now, their production isn't going to be as high as the guys who they're going to be replacing, but those guys are no sleepovers. Clemson is absolutely loaded at every position. I mean, the way these guys have been recruiting the last couple of seasons, man, they're absolutely stacked. I mean, they lose guys to the NFL and they find guys who they can come in and replace those guys, and those guys are most likely going to end up going to the NFL as well. It's just like Alabama. They lose guys every year to the NFL. They lose guys every year, and they have guys that step up and end up playing very well. So that's going to be Clemson. So, I mean, Clemson is going to be an absolute juggernaut on the offensive side of the ball. And on the defensive side of the ball, they're still going to be very, very good. I still think they're going to end up having a top 5 or a top 10 defense at the end of the college football season. So now we're going to compare the Clemson offense to the Georgia Tech defense from the 2018 stats. So Clemson was 3rd in college football in yards per game, averaging 527.2 yards per game. They averaged 279 passing yards per game. They were 10th in the country in rushing yards per game with 248.2. And they averaged 44.3 points per game, which was 4th in the country. Now, Georgia Tech on the defense side of the ball, I thought they were pretty solid. They were 46th in the country in yards per game allowed 369.6 yards per game. Passing yards per game allowed, they were 49th in the country, allowing 211.3. They were 57th in the country, stopping the run, allowing 158.3 rushing yards per game. And they averaged 29.3 points per game allowed on the defensive side of the ball, which was 79th in the country. Now comparing that Georgia Tech offense to the Clemson defense, they averaged 408.8 yards per game, which was 61st in the country. They were 126th in the nation passing the football, obviously because they ran that triple option offense. They were more focused on running the football, so they only averaged 83.8 passing yards per game. They were number 1 in the country rushing the ball, having 325 rushing yards per game, which is as expected. And points per game, they averaged 33.6, which was 36th in the country. Now, Clemson's defense, they were 5th overall in yards per game allowed 285.9, 24th in the nation stopping the pass, only allowed 189.6 yards per game. And I don't think people know how hard that is to do in this day and age of the college football. You have all of these new offenses, a lot of spread offense concepts that want to spread you out wide and things like that. So anytime you're able to only allow less than 200 passing yards per game every game, that just goes to show how good your defense is. And I think that's very, very overlooked, because it's very hard in college football nowadays to keep a team from under 200 passing yards per game with all the way that college football is going nowadays. Then they were very good stop the run. They were 4th in the nation stop the run, only allowed 96.3 rushing yards per game. In points per game, they were one of the best in the nation, only allowing 13 points per game. So now we're going to get into my keys to victory, what each team needs to do and able to have a chance to win this game. If you're Georgia Tech, since Clemson is the more talented team, you want to keep this game close. If you're Georgia Tech, I don't think you want to go down more than 2 possessions. And going into halftime, if you're Georgia Tech, I would feel good only being down two possessions going into halftime. So let's say Clemson is leading Georgia Tech 14-0 at halftime. If I'm Georgia Tech, I feel very good about my chances, because you don't want to end up going into halftime or being down by Clemson 21 points or 28 points, because then you're going to have a hard time coming back, especially when you have a new offense and things like that. So you want to keep the game within reach. So I think as long as Georgia Tech keeps the game within 2 scores, I think they put themselves in a good opportunity to win the game. And also they have to be able to get pressure on Trevor Lawrence. Now, if you go back to that semifinal game when Clemson played Notre Dame was having a lot of success early on in that game because they were able to get pressure on Trevor Lawrence. But when Clemson's protection got better, and Notre Dame didn't really have that much success getting after Trevor Lawrence after that, after the first quarter, that's when they started losing. So if you're able to get pressure on Trevor Lawrence, I think that's going to be something that Georgia Tech has to do and able to win this game. So then when you look at Clemson, what Clemson needs to do, I think they need to get off to a fast start. Obviously with Georgia Tech having a new system and things like that, it's going to be a little bit challenging. They're going to struggle a lot on offense because they're going to be in a new system and things like that. So if you're Clemson, if you get out to a very big lead early, I think that could pretty much make it very, very hard for Georgia Tech to come back from that. And also stopping the run. Although Georgia Tech, they're not going to be running that triple option no more. They're going to be running a whole new entire offense. I still think they're going to be better running the football just because that's basically what they've recruited. They recruited a lot of offensive linemen that are very good when it comes to run blocking, and they got a lot of halfbacks on their team. So I still think that the strength of the football team is going to be running the football, even though they're going to pass the ball a little bit more, and they're going to be a little bit better passing the football than what they have been the last couple of seasons. I still think the key of their offense is running the football. So those are my keys to victory, what each team needs to do in order to have a good chance of winning this game. And the team that I'm going to go with to win this game, I'm going to go with Clemson to win this game. Clemson is just way better of a team than what Georgia Tech is. And although this is week 1, Clemson could come out a little rusty and things like that. If you're Georgia Tech, this is the week that you want to play Clemson. Clemson, they might come out a little rusty or a little slow or something like that. But overall, Clemson just has way too much talent for Georgia Tech. And Clemson is just an absolute juggernaut, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So Georgia Tech, I think they're still trying to build up their program. This is just a good test for Georgia Tech to see where they are at as far as a program standpoint and things like that. But asking Georgia Tech to win this game is a very, very hard task, especially for a first-year head coach and things like that. This Clemson team is one of the best teams talent-wise in all of football. They're a juggernaut on the offensive side of the ball. They're very good on defense as well. Despite losing a lot of talent, they're still going to be very good. I mean, it's just very hard to see Georgia Tech winning this game. So I'm going to go with Clemson winning this game. I think Clemson wins this game 42-17. So that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content. Also college football videos as well. And thanks for watching.